Okay, so we've spent a good deal of time working on this town and factory building set by Woodland Scenics. 13 buildings, and today we're going to complete the last of the 13. I'm going to show you how we do the final assembly and what's involved. Just take a break here and move the box out of the way, and then we'll start doing it. Okay, so we've got our sides, we've got our door. We're working on Otto's Auto Parts, and the first thing we have to decide is are we going to put the windows, these little clear pieces of plastic, in before we assemble the sides or after? I have found it's easier to do it before assembling the building, because then you don't have to work up in a real small space. So, having done a number of these, I know that the windows are approximately a ½ inch tall. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these clear pieces of plastic, and we're going to try and scribe a ½ inch piece of plastic and just snap that. And up here, you can see that's plenty wide enough. And we have a little excess here, so we'll take the scissors just cut that off. Get some glue. And we just put it down. Doesn't have to be exact, but you don't want to move it too much because you don't want to get glue in the window section. And this little extra piece, we can trim this off a little bit, and that'll be our lower window. Now we've got the windows. Okay, the windows are the same height, so I'm going to do that again. About 5/16 of an inch, or rather 5/8. Here we have more windows, so we can just do one whole piece all the way across. Come on. It's good to keep wiping this. I don't know if you can tell, but if you can see, there's a little glue that rises out of the tube. Just squeeze it very slightly to bring up that excess. Until when you squeeze it, all you get is air. That helps to keep the tube from blocking up. And like I say, once it's down, you don't want to move it too much. One more cut. At about 5/8 of an inch. We only got a short piece here that we need. They do give you plenty of material, so I don't think we're going to run the risk of running out of window pane material. And trim off a little of that on the top that we don't need. Okay. We now have our windows in. You can see the glare from the windows. I want to cut off a piece for the door. I don't know if I want. Think we can do that with this piece here. Okay, we need to just size it a little bit. It's too tight, I think, so what we'll do is we'll first cut the length. And we'll cut some of the width off. Doing this just by sight, as you can tell. You can see a little bit oozes out. That's why you want to keep wiping it. But if you don't wipe it, it will clog up the tube. Okay, now I'm squeezing it just a little bit. Oh, there's still some more coming out. Okay. Now you can let this glue sit a minute or two, get tacky. But again, what we want to do is once we drop it on there, we don't want to move it. Now because the top edge is so small, I'm going to start on the top edge. Just push it down. Now we have our door. Okay, I'm going to go on and do the rest of them, and I'll be back to show you how we actually begin to bring the sides together. Probably the first thing we'll do though is install the door. Okay, we've got all our windows in. What we're going to try and do now, or not going to try to do it, we are going to do it, is we're going to have to put the door here. Now, for some reason, they've chosen not to allow them to fit exactly, but that's pretty close. Usually you have to cut these side panels in. I'll show you how we do it. But this door seems to be a little bit different. But you cut these side panels the length of the door. Try to make sure they're the same length. And then these form the side panels by gluing them onto here. And then they go right on the edge of the door. Now let me point out that when you cut these windows, remember that a side of the building is going to come on here and have to fit. So you don't want to cut your windows so big that your side won't fit. So you got to leave room between the window and the edge. If you cut them too long, then you're going to have to trim off some before you can get your side on there. But we left plenty of room. And now I'm trying to determine whether I want to really recess the door or whether I can just put it in there like that, which will save me a step. And I think that's what I want to do. I'm just going to put it right in there. I'm not going to extend the opening, so I'm going to put them to the side. These two pieces here, these are will become the roof supports, and that's going to be the roof. We'll have to trim it down once we get the building assembled. So I'm just going to go ahead and have a little bit of recess in the door, but not a deep recess. I found that when you're painting these, or now I just put some glue on, it's best not to handle them with your fingers. Try and position them using anything, tweezers. Here I'm using a little knife. But now let's just go in and position that as best we can. Looks to me like we'll have to sand this bottom a little bit to get it even, but that's okay. And then we'll touch up the paint to hide the seam a little bit better. But I think we're done. We're going to let this sit for a while to make sure that it's on there nice and securely, and then we'll come back and actually assemble the walls.